Hello and welcome to this latest episode of the Fully Booked Coach podcast. I am your host, Daniel Poulter, and in today's episode, we will be covering the 5 reasons why your content isn't converting. So I talk about this with my clients inside both the academy and the mastermind, that the first stage of getting a client, acquiring a lead is, are you creating content that is starting conversations? Because that's ultimately where it needs to lead. You post consistent content, not just for the fun of it. You're posting it with the goal and mission for someone to feel the want and need to book a call with you, DM you, go check out your website, and ultimately take an action. Okay, so if this sounds familiar, you're posting content daily on Instagram and TikTok, but nobody is asking about your program, or you're getting more followers, but you can't seem to convert those followers into paying clients. Like, I've got the 5 reasons why that might be happening. Okay. Number 1, you aren't being vulnerable enough. Okay. I often see on people, fitness coaches who are struggling to grow their business, using social media marketing. It's just because they're not being vulnerable. They're not sharing their mistakes. They're not sharing their own personal stories. Okay. You have to connect with your audience. In marketing, you have know, like, and trust. Okay. And in order for people to get to know you, to like you, to trust you, they can't just see the polished version of you. They need to see it warts and all, the good and the bad. Okay. So if in your content you're not sharing the hardest day in your life, the biggest mistakes you made, even like a mistake you've made recently, you have to start sharing that both on your story and in your feed. The second thing you need to know is, maybe you're being a bit of a generalist and you're not being a specialist. Okay. And I'll say that again. Are you being a generalist and not a specialist? Okay. Let me give you an example. When you're creating your content, in order to get someone to reach out and want to DM you or want to work with you, they need to resonate with the content. And there's a phrase in marketing as well, that if you speak to everyone, you end up speaking to no one. So the best tip, the piece of advice I can give you is, when you're deciding who to speak to, and this is like a real hack for you, so write this down, speak to the person that you were maybe 3 to 5 years ago. Why? Because you know those struggles better than anyone. Okay. And if you talk about pains and problems that you felt deep in your heart, deep in your gut, people are going to resonate with that. And then they're going to feel like, shit, this guy, this girl, this is the person that can help me. So what I mean by that as an example is, fine. If you're a young guy that wants to help busy mums, then fine. Maybe that's your niche. Maybe you've had success with that so far. But I would argue that you'd be able to create better content as a young guy who maybe was overweight as a student, and now you've got a 6-pack, who talks about how you used to feel when you were overweight, because other guys will see that, they'll resonate, and then they'll want to reach out because they'll see you as a specialist, not as a generalist. Okay. Number 3 of 5, you aren't sharing enough social proof. Okay. And this is really simple, guys. Go and do this off the back of listening or watching this. Go to your last 9 posts, and you should be looking for at least 2 to 3 pieces of social proof in your last 9 posts. And this goes whether it's Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, maybe not Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. Okay. Every 2 to 3 posts, you should be sharing either before and after pictures, video testimonials, or written testimonials, or a combination of the 3. Create a carousel, get creative, maybe a video that goes into an image that goes into maybe a screenshot. Okay. And secondly, you're not sharing enough social proof on your story. Okay. Easy one for you. Here's a tip. In your group, like I do, both in fitness and business, we share Wednesday wins. Okay. And the reason why we do that, not just to help the clients and motivate them and get them competitive amongst the groups, but that's because it creates great social proof. We screenshot those, we put them on our stories. And guess what? People like you, fitness coaches, reach out to me and say, hey, I saw that this guy, this girl keeps smashing it in your program. I want to learn more about it. So maybe you're not sharing enough social proof right now. Number 4 of 5 is, you aren't testing your audience. Okay. You aren't testing them. Okay. You're not creating controversial content that tests your audience. You're not testing them in a way that makes them think, that makes them act, that makes them take actions. And likewise, they're not going to come out and reach out to you. If you're not testing your audience on a regular basis and putting out posts like, I'm looking for 5 busy mums who want to drop body fat in the new year, if you're not doing those posts just because you're like everyone else does them, have you ever stopped and thought that because everyone else does them, maybe you should start doing them and stop trying to reinvent the wheel and stop trying to go against the grain? Of course, I'm all about thinking outside the box. I'm all about being authentic. I'm all about you letting your personality shine through to a point, but don't try and reinvent the wheel and don't try and outsmart the system. So every like 9 to 10 posts, just drop a post that says, hey, I'm looking for 5 men or women or students or dads or whatever who want to achieve a thing in a certain time period, who want to drop 5 kilos in 6 weeks. DM me the word info to learn more. And number 5, last but not least, you aren't giving away your best stuff for free. And I've seen this a lot, especially with personal trainers on the gym floor. If you're a PT that still delivers PT on the gym floor, do not make the mistake of giving someone a crap taster session where it's just machines and it's very basic and a very low level. Okay. You have to give away your best stuff for free. So when you're creating your Instagram posts, have a client avatar in mind. So if you ever hear me refer to like an ICA, that's what I'm referring to. Your ideal client avatar. Okay. And that is the person you're creating content for on a daily basis. You should be speaking directly to said person. Is it Steve, who struggles with his diet and likes to go for a drink at the weekend? What kind of content does he need? Give away your best stuff. Don't give away like the low level stuff. Give away your best tips. Tell people how to track their own calories. Give them a workout to do. Give away a free workout plan if you need to. Ultimately, people don't pay for our knowledge, guys. They pay for our application. So give them the knowledge for free. They'll pay you for the application. So to recap, we need to start sharing something personal, more vulnerable, creating more connection with your audience. The second part of this is going all in on your niche. That's why people might not be messaging you about your program or working with you. Go all in on a niche, speak to one audience so you don't end up becoming a generalist. Share social proof 2 to 3 times in every 9 posts. Post an I'm looking for post every 9 to 10 posts. And then finally, don't be afraid to give away your best stuff for free. I want to see that level of content rise above and go to a higher level. So if you've enjoyed this episode, give me a follow on Instagram at FullyBookCoach, and the same is on TikTok as well. I post daily tips over there. And if you want to learn more about working with me, just DM me the word podcast, just so I know where you've come from, and we can have a chat about my program. I've got the Academy, which is a program to help fitness coaches get to 5K a month. And then I've got the Mastermind, which is to help coaches who are earning 3 to 5K a month go to 10K, because there's different things you should be focusing on at different levels of income. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the episode. I'll catch you on the next one, and let's do this.